Ah, new book, The Bold. Okay, so this is what we're reading today. So, chapter 1. Parents are a funny lot, aren't they? Full of surprises. My mother once met me from school wearing a pair of knickers on her head. She said it was World Knickers Day, but of course there's no such thing. She was just being silly. And my father encouraged me to read and write, but then seemed less keen when I wrote on my bedroom wall with felt tip pen. Make your mind up. But it is true, I suppose, that parents know things we don't. They're bound to, because they're so old. And it can be worth listening to them sometimes. Occasionally, parents say something interesting. If only by the law of averages. And parents know things too. What you're having for tea. Whether you've washed your hands or not. Where your birthday presents are hidden. And what the family secrets are. This is a story about a very surprising family secret told to Betty and Bobby Bold by their parents the evening before their first day at school. It is a story that is hard to believe, but I assure you it is true. I mean, if I was going to make something up, it wouldn't be as incredible as the tale I'm about to tell you, trust me. Betty and Bobby are twins, and they live with their parents in a lovely semi-detached house in Teddington, which is in London. On this particular night, they were ready for bed. Their teeth cleaned, they both have very large pointy teeth, and their ears brushed. They both have very hairy ears. Hang on a minute. Have a look at a picture of them. It's not normal, is it? They were waiting for their mother to tuck them in and their father to tell them a good night joke. Mr. Bold loves jokes and has a job writing them for Christmas crackers. But when they came into the room, their parents were looking very serious, which was most unusual because Mr. and Mrs. Bold are the most fun parents you could ever meet, always laughing and telling jokes. And there's a picture of Mr. Bold, and he looks a bit odd as well. "What's wrong, Dad?" asked Betty. "You look worried," said Bobby. Mr. Bold sat himself on the end of Betty's bed and coughed a couple of times. His wife put her hand on his shoulder and gave it a little squeeze. "Come on, dear," she said. "We've got to tell them." "Tell us what?" asked Betty. "Tell you who you really are," said her mother. Twins didn't understand and looked at each other in confusion. "Have you ever noticed that you're different from other people?" asked Mr. Bold. "Well, I suppose our teeth are bigger than others," suggested Bobby. "And we're a bit hairier than other children," said Betty. "And we can't stop laughing," said Bobby. His shoulders started to shake as the giggles erupted from inside him. "Precisely," said his mother, "but there's a reason for all that, my dear, a very unusual, rather special reason." "Yes," agreed her father. "You see, it's so unusual, we've been keeping it a secret. But now you're going to school, we think it's time to tell you." "Tell us what?" asked Bobby. Mrs. Bold opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out. "What your mother is trying to tell you is that the reason we're not like other people is because we're not really people at all," said Mr. Bold. "What?" Bobby howled with laughter. "What are we then? A computer game? Aliens?" "Oh no," said his mother. "Something much more unusual than that." "We're hyenas," stated Mr. Bold. "Hyenas from Africa living in disguise as humans. And so far, no one has discovered our secret, and that's the way we want it to stay. As family secrets go, this is quite a shocker, don't you think? The sort of thing that would keep you or I awake all night wondering about it." But Bobby scratched his hairy ears, Betty ran her tongue across her pointy teeth, and they both began to consider whether it could really be true. "Africa?" said Bobby. "Hyenas?" said Betty. The twins looked at each other and started to laugh. This is the funniest joke you've ever told us, Dad. It's not a joke, son. Far from it. For once in my life, I'm being serious. We don't believe you, said Betty. Can you prove it? Demanded Bobby. Mrs. Bold looked at her husband, who nodded. Yes, children, I can, she said. Look inside your pyjama bottoms and tell me what you see there, apart from your legs and private parts. So they did. I looked inside their pyjama bottoms. I wonder what they found. The twins did as they were suggested. Round the back, said the father helpfully. This? Asked Betty, pulling out a large furry tail. I've got one too, said Bobby, producing his own tail. Don't all children have these? No, dear, they don't, said Mrs. Bold. Now show them a photo, Fred. So Mr. Bold produced a book called Animals of Africa and opened it at a particular page. Here, he said, take a look. This is a family of wild hyenas. Look at the cubs. Remind you of anyone? There's the picture. The twins' eyes widened in wonderment. Wow, said Bobby. They're just like us, said Betty. And they've got tails, just like us. Human beings most certainly don't have tails, pointed out Mrs. Bold. Now, do you believe us? Asked Mr. Bold. We really, really are wild African hyenas, said Bobby. Brilliant! Mrs. Bold held up her paw sternly. No, Bobby. Hyenas, yes. Wild hyenas, definitely not. Not anymore. But how did we get here? Asked Betty, frowning. We've got a lot to tell you, children, answered her mother. Settle down and listen carefully. This is our Bold's family secret. Chapter 2. We'll read that one tomorrow.